Welcome to the 2025 ND Tech Showcase. This is our 7th year, I think. I am so happy to see this auditorium full of audience members who are interested in learning more about this work that our group has done this year. I'd like to start off by introducing the leadership of this internship program. My name is Shana Cohen. I'm an autism researcher, and I do work with regards to neurotech, to ND Tech. My work is in education studies, so I'm a researcher in education studies, and then I do, with regards to ND Tech, I work on the pre-post surveys, and then I also support the interns with developing soft skills, thank you, and on the lunch and learn activities. And Neil Smith, who is the co-director, he is a cyber archaeologist, so please ask him what that is later. I want to give a shout out to Dr. Pam Kosman, who is our founding director of this program, and she developed it with her colleagues 7 years ago. And our program coordinator, Taro, who does daily interactions with interns, and she was one of our team coaches for 2 of our teams. So a bit about this internship. It's a 9-week workforce development program. It started in 2018. A lot of the teams do education-based video games, create education-based video games in cohorts of 3 to 6 interns per team. It's a part-time position over the 9 weeks. So there's teams that start from 8 to 12 every day. And then the afternoon teams go from 1 to 5. And then on Tuesdays and Thursdays, there's the professional development program during the lunch hour where interns learn about soft skills, how to develop a resume, and they hear from guest speakers in game development industry. So why is it important to continue this program? There's a growing population of neurodivergent adults looking for employment, and we know, and research shows, that there's also a high unemployment and underemployment rate within this population. So this program addresses this need by training adults on durable hard skills to get them ready for tech jobs. We also work on soft skills like how to engage in effective, respectful communication in collaborative settings, such as this internship. And why video games? So they're fun. For neurodivergent adults are heavily represented in the gaming industry, and this kind of game development can almost fit within one summer 2-month program. It requires a range of skills, and it's also a growing industry. So this internship is team-based. Every intern has a role, and the artists engage in asset creation. They engage in creating the game art, including the characters. The designer works on supporting the gaming experience, or the game experience for the user, and they create mock-ups for the different levels. And then the programmers actually work on character interactions and asset interactions, including character behaviors. And then the program manager, or the project manager, leads the daily stand-ups to organize the team. They organize tasks and ensure progress across the team. We had 2 amazing coaches this summer. These folks are young adults that are working on developing their understanding of neurodivergence. They have a good expertise and background in game art or coding, and they're in the room daily with the interns. They provide coaching on the technical work, and then also on workplace communication, resume building, LinkedIn profile building. And these folks are really knowledgeable. They're doing some really cool work on their own. Jeffrey Hatta is going to get his Master's of Science for Computer Science at UCSD. And Taro is going to SMU to work on her Master's in Game Development. We also have fantastic clients who have given their time, energy, feedback to each of our teams. I want to give a shout out of appreciation to these 4 folks who gave their time weekly, an hour a week. They met with the teams. They talked about, how to engage in a recursive, iterative kind of game development work, and they had lots of questions. They came with good insights based on their background. So if you see them out there today during lunch, give them a shout out of appreciation. We also had some incredible mentors who came and gave thoughtful lunch and learn sessions on different kinds of topics like technical advice, feedback on resumes, how to engage and get accommodations in a typical workplace environment. So thank you to these 3 mentors who also gave their time and energy to support this group. I'm going to turn it over to Neil, who is going to talk about game development.
Thank you, Shana. I'm really excited because for Shana and I, this is the first time that we got to join in as the co-director of this program. And I have to say, it's been an amazing experience for me to see the interns this year and the amount of tasks that they took on, the learning that they achieved. The games that you're about to see are quite amazing. And what I want to do is just kind of give you a little bit of background on kind of what exactly we were trying to accomplish within the internship with the idea of this serious games development. So one of the first things that has really kind of started to emerge is this idea that video games are no longer just for entertainment. Video games can be used for a lot of different things. And particularly with serious games, they can have a specific purpose and align with a specific discipline. And what you'll see today with all of the games that you will get to interact with in the theater next to us is that each of them are a serious game that are either addressing some type of problem or educational issue that is hard to communicate. So for example, Incident Commander, which you'll learn about, it's a really great game to learn about simulation and training for fire chiefs. We also have gamified type research series games such as Hoyo Negro, where you're trying to use the game environment to really research and understand things. We also have game-based learning games like Cancer Trials and Tribulations and Habitat Defenders. So in each of these games, as you're going through them, think about how are they unique from just showing entertainment, but how they actually allow you to learn in new ways about the subject matter of our clients, their research, their goals, and what they're trying to achieve. And really this goes back to really one of the main reasons that we wanted to pick serious games as the main topic for the games that we created is really what we're seeing emerge kind of in this generation of students and education, that there really is some significant advantages to game-based learning. Some examples of that is that many students, and I think anyone would agree that lectures can be boring at times. And in a lot of studies, they found that when you introduce interactive type education techniques like game-based learning, test scores and engagement goes up. And really my argument is that in traditional learning, the student becomes detached. They're just listening. They're just watching someone up at front talk about this, but they don't become personally engaged with what they're learning. While with game-based learning, well, some of the unique keys to it is that, one, it reattaches the learner, right? You become invested into what you're playing, into what you're learning. And beyond just becoming invested and getting to interact and learn, it can foster empathy. You can then become emotionally invested. You can begin to identify inwardly with the things that you're learning. And so you'll see with a lot of our games that were produced this summer, a lot of them are going to foster empathy when you play them. You're going to start to feel for the indigenous species in some of the games. You'll start to feel for people that are struggling through cancer. And this is a great thing because you begin to go beyond just the head knowledge of what you're learning to really beginning to become emotionally engaged as well in them. We actually, one of the also new things we introduced this summer is 3 different game engines. So in the past with the ND Tech program, we primarily used Unity game engine, and Unity is a great game engine. I have these 3 letters here, AAA, that stands for AAA. So the top level games, the games that make millions, even $1 billion, and sometimes these games are called AAA games. And the game engines that the interns use this summer are game engines that we see amazing AAA games coming out. So here's some games, you may recognize them up top from Unity. We also introduced Unreal Engine, which also has produced many very top level games that you'll see in the market. And these are just some pictures of just really the advantage of Unreal Engine is just the rendering capabilities and the amount of detail and color and physics that you can involve in it. And then the newest thing that we added this year is Unreal Editor for Fortnite. So this is actually taking the Unreal Engine, and the company Epic Games actually opened up their game Fortnite, which is one of the highest subscribed, biggest games in the world, for actually people to edit games and make games and actually deliver them to 60 million concurrent players on the planet instantly. And so we have one team that actually created their game in Unreal Editor for Fortnite, and you'll actually be able to play it inside Fortnite today. So with that, I'd just like to conclude by just talking about some of the educational elements that we see that go beyond game development in this program. So of course, we talked about game design and game development. So there's a lot of technical skills beyond game engine design that you learn, such as programming languages, C++, C#, Verse, which is the language for UEFN, blueprints, and really learning the logic of programming. So the programmers really developed those hard level skills that could be applied to many different programs. You also, in the art software, a lot of tools were learned. One of the interns, they became much more proficient in 3D modeling by using Maya, and of course design software as well. But also one of our real goals that we tried to achieve throughout this program is our lunch and learns, and really just the experience of our interns being in the workplace and developing the social skills, the project management skills, communication skills that are required to really be able to be in the workforce. And that was one of our major goals of this program, is not just to create these amazing games that can impact many different people's lives, but also for our interns to really develop some really amazing skills that they can really take into the workforce. So with that, I'd like to say thank you and open it up now for our first team.